Episode 3, Wolves, Waterfalls, in the Wilderness Myth, National Parks of the Northwest, and ooh. Trying to do the stupid Twilight. Somewhere in Montana, the air is so clean you can taste it. The water you're drinking might have started as a glacier That's a 6. This is what happens. I have to crochet at the same time.
Why do you have to crochet at the same time?
Because I had to take out 14 rows and I'm trying to make a sweater. I like to crochet. Okay.
We know.
We should add to the website the different things of crochet. Anyways.
Well, we could if we wanted to.
What is Renee crocheting during this episode? Somewhere in Montana, the air is so clean you can taste it. The water you're drinking may have started as a glacier 600 years ago. And that sound you just heard could be a mountain goat. Could be a grizzly. Could be your imagination.
Welcome to the Northwest, where the sky is bigger, the trees are taller, and the scale of everything makes you feel wonderfully small.
I'm Renee.
I'm Dan. This is Time Tellers, episode 3 in our 5-part series on the national parks of the United States, and today we head into the Northwest, home to some of the most iconic and controversial landscapes in the entire park system.
We'll hike through the geothermal madness of Yellowstone, scale the glacier-laced peaks of Glacier National Park, tiptoe through the mossy halls of Olympic, and stare straight up into the redwoods that are older than Shakespeare. I have seen the redwoods. And they are
So
gorgeous.
you've been to Endor. Got it.
Oh, that is where they filmed that, isn't it? Yeah, you're right. Forgot that.
It's Star Wars. Of course I'm right.
I just forgot. I'm not always up to date on my Star Wars trivia.
Why?
Because I'm
Up
more
to
of a
date,
Harry
that's from
Potter.
1980.
So?
But beyond the views, we're also looking at truth. How these lands were taken, who they belong to first, and why wilderness is a much trickier word than it sounds.
You can't talk about national parks anywhere without starting here. Yellowstone.
America's first national park. The world's first national park. Signed into law in 1872.
Think boiling geysers. Think boiling geysers. Rainbow-colored hot springs. Earthquakes. Mud pots. A bison that doesn't care that you have a camera.
The Washburn and Hayden expeditions mapped and promoted the region. Thomas Moran painted it like a dream. William Henry Jackson photographed it with a wagon full of glass plates.
Congress saw the images and said, we can't build condos on this. So they didn't. Instead, they preserved it.
Except they didn't preserve everything. Let's talk about the Tukadika, also known as the sheep-eater Shoshone. They hunted here, cooked with hot springs, lived in what's now Yellowstone for thousands of years.
After 1872, they were pushed out. Rangers and superintendents claimed falsely that the indigenous people never used the geyser basins. It was easier to sell Yellowstone as untouched.
Today, 27 tribes have ancestral ties to the park. And slowly, Yellowstone is starting to tell their stories again.
It also had to be protected from Americans.
Shocker.
In the early years, there was no staff, no enforcement, and tourists picked apart geysers like souvenir shops.
So in 1886, the U.S. Army moved in. Cavalry on horseback patrolled the park for decades until the National Park Service was finally created in 1916.
Want a redemption arc?
Sure.
Try the bison. They were nearly wiped out by poachers. Today, thanks to Yellowstone protections, they're thriving. Though their freedom to roam beyond park borders is still contested.
And don't forget the wolves, exterminated by 1926, reintroduced in 1995. Their return reshaped the entire ecosystem. Elk changed grazing patterns, let willows regrow, which helped songbirds and beavers return.
It's called a trophic cascade. One predator back in place, and the whole system breathes again.
Yellowstone is a masterpiece, and a case study in mistakes, resilience, and what it takes to hold a promise for 150 years.
North to Montana, where the Rockies scrape the clouds and everything is shaped by ice.
Not that ice.
No, this is the good ice. Natural ice.
Glacier National Park, created in 1910, is pure drama. Snowfields, alpine lakes, mountain goats on cliffs, and the iconic Going to the Sun Road that's basically a mountain roller coaster.
But, like Yellowstone, this place is layered. First layer, the Blackfeet Nation. Their ancestral homeland includes Glacier's east side. In 1895, under intense pressure, they ceded that land to the U.S., but held on to spiritual and hunting rights that were often ignored.
Today, Glacier works more closely with tribal nations, but for decades their stories were erased.
Second layer, climate change. Glacier had 150 active glaciers in 1910. Today, about 25, and shrinking fast.
That's not a projection, it's a reality. You can see climate change here, carving away at ice summer by summer.
Glacier is also half of the world's first international peace park, linked with Waterton Lakes in Canada, a monument to conservation across borders.
Want a weird twist?
Always.
Can I continue?
Yes, I'm sorry. Too much caffeine.
Want a weird twist?
Yes!
That was way too enthusiastic.
No, it's not. I'm weird. I like weird. Keep going.
Glacier's park history is deeply tied to the Great Northern Railway, which built chalets and lodges to attract tourists. Some still stand. Picture rustic luxury with bears out back.
The vibe? European Alps meets North American wilderness, but with a subplot of indigenous displacement and international idealism.
I figured you'd like that line.
I do, actually. That was very well written. Good job.
I try once in a while.
We have been sharing the writing responsibilities since I have apparently dedicated my life to the theater recently. Don't mean to.
Western Washington. Think fog, fir trees, and moss growing on everything that doesn't move. And some things that do move.
Welcome to Olympic National Park, where you can snowshoe across a glacier in the morning, hike through a rainforest at lunch, and watch the sunset on the Pacific coast all in one day. Sounds fun.
Yeah. Olympic is a trifecta. Glacial mountains, temperate rainforest, and 73 miles of wild coastline. No other park is this ecologically diverse in one footprint.
Created in 1938 after a tense battle between loggers and conservationists, the timber here was big, valuable, and nearly gone.
President Franklin Roosevelt visited in 1937, saw the destruction, and supported the park's expansion. The Civilian Conservation Corps came in soon after to build trails and facilities.
The Hoah Rainforest, part of the park, is one of the wettest places in the continental U.S., and it feels ancient. Trees as wide as cars, moss like velvet, streams so close it feels like time forgot to stir them.
And they're so clear, too.
Yes, that word is clear, not close. You are correct. Sorry.
The Quailoteo and other tribes still live nearby and fight to protect their cultural and environmental heritage, including rising sea levels that threaten their villages.
Olympic reminds us that not all wilderness is dry and dusty. Sometimes it drips and pulses and breathes.
Yes. What was that look for?
I don't know. It's really... I don't know. Go ahead. Let's talk about the redwoods.
south into Northern California, where the forests reach skyward.
Redwood National and State Parks protect the tallest trees on Earth. Coast redwoods that can stretch over 370 feet tall.
Once these giants covered over 2 million acres. By the 1960s, 90% were logged. That's when conservationists and the government stepped in.
In 1968, the national park was created to join with state parks. In 1978, Congress expanded it after TV footage showed nearby clear cutting right up to the boundary.
The park is now jointly managed by federal and state teams, a rare and successful example of cooperation.
Wonder if that means it's still technically not shut down. The state just took over? Redwoods are more than tall. They're old, some over 2,000 years. They hold fog in their branches and absorb coastal mist. Their ecosystems onto themselves.
Do you hold fog in your branches and absorb coastal mist?
I hold fog in my brain. Foggy brain!
Sounds like a side effect of COVID. These forests are sacred to many native peoples, including the Yurok, Tolowa, and Cholula, who used redwoods for canoes, homes, and ceremonies.
Today, some tribes are leading restoration efforts, bringing cultural fire practices back to forests that evolved with it.
Standing in a redwood grove feels like walking into a cathedral, but older, quieter, and much, much taller.
A natural cathedral. And not Catholic.
You mean not? Never mind. I'm not going there.
Every park we've talked about had a fight behind it. Timber, access, tribes, tourism, roads, resources.
Yellowstone needed an army to patrol it. Glacier needed a railroad. Olympic needed a president with muddy boots. Redwoods needed national outrage.
And today, those fights continue. Overcrowding, climate, indigenous rights, water shortages, and wildfire, and federal shutdowns.
Some of these parks have seen record-breaking fires in the last decade. Others are seeing species shift northward. Glaciers vanish, salmon runs dry up.
And then there's the people. Who gets to visit? Who gets to tell the story? Who gets to remember it in the brochures?
Parks aren't static, they evolve. Not just geologically, but culturally.
The Northwest wilderness isn't just visual, it's historical, political, even spiritual. Lightning Round Northwest Edition. Best geyser?
Still Old Faithful, but Norris Geyser Basin is wider.
Best road?
Going to the Sun Road, Glacier. Just don't look down.
Best trees?
Redwoods, no contest. Tall enough to host Wi-Fi satellites.
Best rain?
The whole rainforest feels like a storybook, but dripping. Sounds like my kind of storybook.
Best wildlife story?
Wolves in Yellowstone saved a landscape by doing what predators do.
Most jaw-dropping sound.
Just heard it.
This is supposed to be the lightning round.
A glacier cracking in the high country. Sounds like a mountain exhaling. The national parks of the Northwest are time machines. They show you the earth in motion, glaciers carving valleys, forests rebounding after fire, predators reshaping rivers.
But they also show people in motion. Tribes who were here first, settlers who cut trails, conservationists who raised hell, visitors who stand quietly and feel something shift.
Yellowstone is still learning. Glacier is still melting. Olympic is still listening. The redwoods are still growing.
And the story isn't done. In fact, it's never static. Not in this part of the world.
Next up, we head to the southeast, from the Great Smoky Mountains to the Everglades, from fireflies in Congaree to the walls of Fort Jefferson in the middle of the sea.
Appalachian ghosts, subtropic rivers, bayous, and battlefields, and the fight to save what some thought was too flat, too wet, or too wild to matter.
Until then, find a place with old trees or cold rivers, or mountains that didn't care who's in charge.
And listen, because the land is still telling us time.
That wasn't funny.
Bye!